Shaman say it's wonders and signs. We are living in the end of times. Where is the love we once used to know? Where is the kindness we used to show? The heart of man is so full of hate. Let's make a change before it's too late. Too much killing, too much blood spilling. Each and every morning, it's weeping and mourning. We've got to stop all the crimes, erase the violence, let our voice be heard. We can't sit in silence. The hope of tomorrow is in no use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
It is 8:09 here in SVG, and at this time we are bringing to you WEFM's Cop Chat. And joining Roleza and I in studio this morning, we have somebody that is very, very familiar with the studios of WEFM, and is no stranger to the listeners of WEFM, Mr. Michael Charles, who is the commandant of the SVG Auxiliary Forces, and he is here with us this morning to discuss the SVG Auxiliary Force, their roles and responsibilities. So, Mr. Charles, good morning.
Pleasant good morning. Good morning, Roleza.
Good morning.
It's always good to be back in the clean, fresh sound, and in a different capacity this time. So, first, I must apologize for Major Bernard Marksman, the adjutant of the Auxiliary Police Force. Unfortunately, he can't be here this morning. He has another assignment, really. So I will write solo.
I'm sure you're going to do a tremendous job. A good job, right?
I'll try.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So as I mentioned this morning, we are looking at the SVG Auxiliary Force and their roles and responsibilities. So if you've never heard of the SVG Auxiliary Force, you did not know such a thing exists, that you will be learning a lot about it this morning. Remember, we will open the lines. We will let you know when we open the lines for you to call and give us your questions or your comments, and you will use 457-9997 to do that. So to head straight into our topic at this time, we start with we start at the top. So tell us, what is the SVG who is the SVG Auxiliary Force?
Well, actually, the Auxiliary Police Force is a supplementary body of the Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force, which can be called out for service by the Commissioner of Police. And the act that governs the Auxiliary Police is the Police Act, Chapter 391, Section 55 to 66, that governs everything about the Auxiliary Police.
So it's like a standby set of persons?
Basically, it's something like a reserve.
Right, okay.
But they actually, just like the reserve in the US, any other reserves, they can be called out for duty and some are out on duty as we speak right now.
Okay.
And in cases when auxiliary can be called out is when the police need additional persons to preserve peace. They are called out for training and drills.
Okay.
All right. So the auxiliary officers, are they usually stationed at the police stations?
Some auxiliary officers are stationed at stations. There are several police stations throughout St. Vincent and Grenadines, and there are auxiliary police officers who are at the point. The auxiliary at Calapur. There's 2 auxiliary at Vermont. Yes, I think there's a Georgetown also, but throughout the auxiliary assist the police in any which way.
Okay. Are they full-time workers though? What category do they fall under?
Well, to put it, once the commissioner called you out, yes, you are employed permanently. There are several auxiliary right now working at several schools in St. Vincent and Grenadines. They are permanent. Yes. And Commissioner of Police is directly in charge of the auxiliary. He's overall in charge. But the person who is in charge of the auxiliary is called the commandant. And the commandant's rank is equivalent to the deputy commissioner of police. That's a point to note. A lot of people didn't know that. The second person in charge is a major. And unlike the police force, the ranks are similar up to inspector. When you get to the inspector, it is no longer called inspector, it's called a lieutenant. Let's say lieutenant, captain will be a ASP, major will be superintendent.
It's sounding like the Navy, some Navy titles.
Well, basically that's how it's shaped. Yes, basically.
All right. It's a curious question on my part, right? Let's say I am self-employed or I have a flexible work schedule.
Yes.
Can I actually sign up to become an auxiliary police?
Most definitely. Once you able-bodied and fit, yes, and above the age of 18, yes, you can be.
Okay.
There are many auxiliary officers who work in full-time other places, but they, as I say, it's a reserve, and they can be called up by the commissioner of police anytime.
Okay.
Yes.
Good information to know.
Indeed.
The command and composition of the auxiliary, as I stated, the commissioner is overall in charge, and the auxiliary police officers consist of officers, non-commissioned officers, and constables. The officers is appointed by the Governor General on recommendation of the Commissioner of Police, and the officer appointed to direct command the auxiliary is called the commandant. The Commissioner of Police, well, officers being appointed, not only the commandant, the other officers are appointed by the Governor General, but the Commissioner of Police appoint non-commissioned officers, that's sergeant, corporal, and so on. The commissioner, that's his responsibility.
Okay.
All right. So what are some of the roles and responsibilities, some of the things that the auxiliary police officers can do, and perhaps some of the things that they can't do as well?
Well, once you're called out, you have the same powers of a police officer. You have powers of arrest, yes, and you work just as a police officer. In case there are cases where police officers and auxiliary work together, like cannibal duties per se, when the police are really pushed, then the auxiliary step in to assist in those cases. There are cases where auxiliary officers station at stations and they do their own investigation as the police. Burglary, whatever offense, they conduct their own investigation, make their arrests, and take persons to court also.
All right. So do auxiliary police officers go through training? Because police officers have to go through training, right?
Yes.
Do they go through training, number one, and if so, for how long? As well as, okay, so if they're going to be assisting police or conducting investigations, taking reports, etc., what level of training in those specific areas do they actually receive?
A great question. Now, as I say, one of the reasons, in one of the cases that the auxiliary is called out by the commissioner is for training and drills. And these training, right now what we have on Saturdays at the Old Montrose Training School, we have auxiliary go to that institution to learn how to take statement, how to deal with reports and so on, and customer service.
Oh, I was wondering about that. Yes.
Yes. So that part has been done. More so, when you are stationed at a police station, you have what you call on-the-job training, right? You understudy the police officers there, and we have some brilliant auxiliary, and in most cases, the people prefer to deal with them than the actual police.
Why? I'm curious. Why?
Well, it's just that I feel because they know they're not police, and it's a stepping stone from the auxiliary to the police. So they will they'll try to outshine the police officers. So in that case, they put the best foot forward, right? So basically that's it.
So is it a case where many of them have aspirations of becoming full police officers, or
I
do you
would,
think?
yes, I would say that.
Yeah.
Yes, and there are a lot of cases where a lot of police officers right now are in NCOs who are auxiliary officers and now police officers.
Okay. Another question. Sorry, Dianna. Another question.
It's okay.
How are they identified though? Because we know a police officer from his uniform, right? Do you have the different ranks and you have the, oh, that's what I was going to ask. All right, the different uniforms. So how do you identify auxiliary police officer?
Well, the auxiliary police officer, they have the way the gray shirts, the blue pants, but they have a red stripe instead of the white stripe. There's a red stripe on the pants. Right? That's the marked and auxiliary officers. The NCOs, that the corporal and sergeant, their chevrons is not white, it's red.
Chevrons is one of
the stripe, what you call stripes.
Okay,
Right. Yes. So, and all auxiliary officers, once they're sworn in, take the oath of office, they're entitled to have the identification card, the police identification card, and they are issued with the identification card. So if they're in plain clothes, they can identify themselves and exhibit the identification card.
Okay.
All right. I don't even know how. Let me come back. Let me come back to this one. The question I was going to ask this one instead. What are the requirements to become an auxiliary police officer? What qualifications do they have to have? What standards do they have to meet to be an auxiliary officer? I'm not sure if you mentioned that before.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But the qualification for appointment is every person who not less than 18 years old is able-bodied and of good character. That's basically what you need to be an auxiliary officer.
Okay.
I can tell you that there are many auxiliary officers with over 8 GC subjects. They are highly qualified. And I think there's a conception. There was a conception that once you're auxiliary, you could barely write a name. I think that's a thing of the past, because we have some very brilliant auxiliary officers. Right now, we have an auxiliary officer, female, who's at community college right now. She's have leave from her duties and attending community college.
Okay.
So that will tell you the quality of the persons who are auxiliary officers.
Oh, so auxiliary officers have been around for like a very long time. I don't know if in my head it's been recent. In a sense, recent within, let's say, last 10 to 15 years. That's how I remember it. I'm sorry.
I understand. Auxiliary officers were way long before the force was actually fully established.
Okay.
Especially the fire service. The fire service was manned by a lot of auxiliary police officers. And what some people don't know, retired Superintendent Latchman of blessed memory, he was an auxiliary. He started as an auxiliary at the fire department. He went over to the police force and rose to the rank of superintendent.
Okay.
All right. Very, very, very nice. Interesting. All right. So I would like us to, is it too soon to take a break? I would like us to take a break here. Okay. And then we would come back after. And when we come back, after we have our questions, listeners, you do have the opportunity to call with your questions, 457-9997 and 532-9997. So we'll take this break and then we will be right back with our Cop Chat.
Do you want to feel clean or refreshed after using the bathroom, whether at home, work, or play? Welcome to My Smart Toilet Seats. All of our products wash your private parts after using the bathroom without the use of your hands. Let's hear what our national table tennis champion, Damian Dublin, has to say.
I tried it and it works. There are 4 options. Simply add an attachment to your existing toilet seat, or choose a non-electric seat, or better, an electric seat that washes and dries you with warm water and air. Lastly, get a complete smart toilet that also flushes itself. What are you waiting for? Get your smart toilet seat today. Be smart, be refreshed, be clean. be a winner like me.
Our smart toilet seat is available throughout St. Vincent at retail outlets with the orange flags. You can call us at 457-1703 or visit our website at justwashit.vc.
Yes, sir.
Our industry relies on all of us to play our part. We take pride in showcasing our beautiful island, our craft, our cuisine, and our warm Vincentian hospitality.
Each of us play a crucial role in showcasing our vibrant tourism industry.
We can create spaces where visitors can unwind, connect with nature, and embrace tranquility of our beautiful surroundings.
We need everyone on board to help us create an exceptional experience for our guests.
Join us at our National Tourism Community Consultations as we shape the future of tourism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
It's everyone's business, yeah. Live it, love it, embrace it.
At Paramedics, we sell the widest range of medical supplies. For all your family needs, we sell hospital beds, commodes, wheelchairs, walkers, raised toilet seats, quad canes, adult pampers from 3XL, 2XL, 1XL large, medium and small sizes, sterile and non-sterile gloves, diabetic machines and strips, urine strips, cotton, gauze and so much more. The management and staff wish all a Merry Christmas, thanking you all for your support in 2024 and wishing you a blessed and prosperous 2025. Call us at 451-2763 or WhatsApp us at 531-9119.
Every Kendra's yard sale does feel like a Black Friday sale. And this November, the stars have aligned. So yeah, we're doing it. 2 days of yard sale, Black Friday style. Friday, November 29th, Saturday, November 30th, 8 o'clock at our factory compound, Camden Park. You get the absolute lowest prices on aluminum windows, metal doors, and wooden doors, P-trap and S-trap toilets, space basins with pedestal and cabinet, bathtubs, kitchen sinks, NutriBullet blenders, automatic sliding and swing gate opener, kitchen appliances from Jake's Kitchen, and yeah, plenty more. It's 2 days of yard sale, Black Friday style at Kendra's Aluminum Factory Compound, Camden Park. Friday and Saturday, November 29th and 30th. Sale starts at 8 a.m. Nobody comes close to Kendra's. Kendra's Aluminum Products, a tradition of excellence.
99.9 WEFM. Cop Chat. You've got questions for the police? They're here to give you the answers on WEFM 99.9.
The world has become such a cruel place. Something is wrong with the human race. Preacher man say it's wonders and signs. We are living in the end of times. Where is the love we once used to know? Where is the kindness we used to show? The heart of man is so full of hate. Let's make a change before it's too late. Too much killing, too much blood spilling. Each and every morning, it's weeping and mourning. We've got to stop all the crimes, erase the violence, let our voice be heard. We can't sit in silence. The hope of tomorrow is in no use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
We are back with our Cop Chat right here on the Clean Fresh Sound with Roleza and Dianna. In studio with us this morning, we have Mr. Michael Charles, who is the Commandant of the SVG Auxiliary Forces. And this morning, we're discussing the topic, the roles and responsibilities of the SVG Auxiliary force. So we are heading right back into our discussion. If you have questions, if you have comments, you can call us. You can call us on 457-9997 on WhatsApp, or you can call us on our landline, or you can use 532-9997. All right. And straight back into our discussion at this time. So my first question, what are the disciplinary measures that they are in place for auxiliary police officers? Is it the same as the regular police? Should I say regular?
Yes,
Is it
that's
the
correct. That's correct. Regular.
Okay.
Yes, discipline is once you called out, you fall under the Commissioner of Police, and so the disciplinary laws that govern the police also govern the auxiliary police officers. And once an auxiliary officer commit himself in any form or fashion, the Commissioner of Police can depute any officer to take these charges, as he will do the ordinary police. And in this case, he can choose, instead of the ordinary police, he can choose an officer from the auxiliary. And we have several officers who are in the auxiliary forces.
Okay. So when we have a problem with police, right, as citizens, we can make our larger complaints at the police
Public relations.
Who do we make a report with in case of the auxiliary police? Is it the same place?
Yes, the police public relations and complaints department.
Okay.
And that's a wonderful question, because many times when an auxiliary, in person's mind, they perceive that the auxiliary treat them bad. Most of them never go to the police complaints. They come to the commandant, right? So I take the report and so on, and then pass it on to the complaint, so that investigations, if need be, could be conducted.
Okay. So I'm going to say something, right? Do you think that the auxiliary police command as much respect as police officers in the eyes of the public? Because I'll be very honest, I did not realize that they had the same type of roles and responsibilities as police officers. And to an extent, I suppose let me not say what it is I'm thinking, right? But do you think that they command as much respect as in the eyes of the public? Because, yeah.
No, they don't. And I must thank Major Marksman, because I became commandant in 2017, and Marksman was adjutant long before that. And Mr. Marksman was doing his best in training and so on to try to get back the actuality to the standard what it was. Let me give you an example. In 1981, when I joined the police force, when I returned from Barbados and was on the beat, an auxiliary officer, Cain, took me out on the beat. That was the standard of the auxiliary in those days. Over the years, I don't know what happened, but the auxiliary lose the respect. Most times they see them in rum shop, in all kind of, mind you, there are police officers who act like that sometimes. But the respect people had for the auxiliary. As a matter of fact, there was a collapse some time ago, banana police. People refer to them as banana police.
Oh, that's right? What that song was about. Okay.
Yes. So, but thanks to Marksman, and since I took over in 2017, we've been doing some rigorous training and try to get back the standard. And it's getting there. It's not there yet, really. But in most cases, the auxiliary have to prove themselves. Sometimes they are laid back. Just the day before yesterday, a female auxiliary who works at the girls' high school, she was traveling, and a van driver overtakes some other vans and was driving dangerously. She spoke to that officer, and he was very rude to her. What's the effect that you're walking traffic and you're looking for pose? And she hold a composure, asked him for his driver's license, and they didn't necessarily report the matter to traffic. So that will be dealt with.
Okay.
So, and there are other cases that auxiliary officers who act as the way they should. A point to note also that the tourist police, they are auxiliary. The traffic wardens, they are auxiliary also.
Okay. I don't know how I've felt about the term tourist police, but that's a thing. Right. I think the reason too is, but why I asked the question with respect is because of the roles that we've seen some of them in, like they're assisting students with crossing the streets, etc. So many of us would not have been left with the impression that they actually had the same type of powers as police officers.
Yes.
So, okay. All right, we're learning today, folks. We're learning. Well, I am learning. We're learning today. All right.
I want to clear up a perception that is going about by some people, and I think I'm glad for this opportunity so I can clear it. I can clear the air. People will meet you. Well, I wear uniform from time to time also, and people say, "But he was commissioner." This would give some younger person that job. You just leave commissioner. No, you're in charge of auxiliary. A point to note that the officers of the auxiliary are voluntary. A lot of people don't know that, but Mr. Marksman, myself, and the other officers, we volunteer our service. However, in December, we get a stipend.
Okay.
They can buy gas for the vehicle, really, but that's basically it. So we're not a monthly workers per se, right? But we volunteer our service, and we love doing that. Take for example, Mr. Marksman. Mr. Marksman have a wide range of knowledge. It's a pity he couldn't be here with us this morning, right? And well, I would say he's the world best commandant, adjutant, because he about 4 commandants, and he's the adjutant. 4 commandants before me, and he's still going strong and doing a very good job.
Okay. All right. So within the communities themselves, didn't know they were volunteering either. This is another thing. But within the communities, is there, so for communities where the police station isn't close by, are members within the communities aware who auxiliary police officers are? Because we can quickly identify who police officers are. We know those persons. But in terms of knowing the other persons who we can count on for security, if we need to report a matter quickly within the various communities, is there like a pool of persons who community members would know who they can reach out to? How is that information disseminated to the public for them to know who to contact?
Well, a person living, for example, I'm an auxiliary living in Green Hill. If I go into work in my uniform, so everybody see that I'm a police officer, an auxiliary police officer. So they know who the auxiliaries are. If they're in plain clothes, they will wear their ID over their shoulder, right, and on the chest, really. So basically, St. Vincent is a very small place. The communities are even smaller. And so everybody know everybody. So the auxiliary know.
Okay.
All right. Because, probably to extend from that question, I believe because you mentioned before they have the same privileges, or should I say privileges?
Powers.
But the powers, yeah, they have the same powers as the police. That means that persons can actually report crimes to the auxiliary officers.
Yes, the people do. People do report crimes.
Okay,
yes,
lovely.
Yes.
All right, lovely. What sort of protection do the auxiliary officers have compared to the police, the ordinary police officers? Do they have the same sort of protection, same kind of compensation?
Once you call out for duty, you're protected under the Police Act. So you get injured on duty, yes, you'll be taken care of by the laws.
Okay. And as a way of maybe, so in the police force, there is promotion, right?
Yes.
So many times it should be based on the work that you've done within the force, right?
Definitely.
So for those persons who are auxiliary police officers, what is there, let's say, to motivate or encourage them to maybe join the force and to go up in the ranks within the force itself?
Good question. Once an officer, a constable, is performing, yes, he will be recommended to the Commissioner of Police to be promoted. The last promotion was in 2023. We had a small, very small promotion. Mm-hmm. We had a lieutenant. We had one sergeant. We had 2 corporals and 3 corporals. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So once they're performing, they'll be recommended for promotion.
Okay. And what is its strength in terms of the numbers of the auxiliary force at this time? You have a figure?
I tried to get a figure before I get here, but
approximate.
And duties right now at schools, we have 78 auxiliary and schools. They are auxiliary Coast Guard. They're auxiliary officers posted at the financial complex. They're auxiliary at the central market. They're auxiliary within the police stations itself. Mm-hmm. They're auxiliary at the port. So we have closely about 250 auxiliary police officers. Mm-hmm. Mind you, we have more than that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We have more than that who is currently training. They don't really come training on a regular basis, mm-hmm. but they're on record. We have over 200 auxiliary applications, auxiliary officers. And training is done Mondays and Tuesdays and Saturdays, as I stated. Mondays and Tuesdays is drills, and that is done at the Solidarity Car Park from 4. And Saturdays is from 10 a.m. at the Old Montrose Police Training School.
Okay. So, if an auxiliary police officer wants to go over to the police force, saying that they're doing all of this training, do they still have to go through the training process, or they can, take over this what they've done?
Once they'll make the application, and I will say that they're not really a bias person, but
they come with the training.
Definitely. So they will be out front.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be out front really, but they will still have to go through the training. Same 6-month training as the regular police officer.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so we have somebody calling. Okay. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, big day.
Good morning to my friend there,
Yeah, greetings.
Yeah, good to hear you. But something bothers me. And I remember Professor Rami Theophron, consultant to the Trinidad and Tobago government at one time, I don't know if he's still in that role, concerning criminology.
No.
I, Dave Roberts, attended that session, and I was quite vocal, asking questions on behalf of police who were not afraid or afraid to talk, who are afraid to talk, I should say. But my concern has to do with how can some people go through the police force per se? Not so much on, I know about the auxiliary, but how can somebody go through the police force without being promoted? And I remember the professor was very concerned about that. And is there, so just take that into account, and is there, let us say a police officer enters the police force, after 10 years or 15 years, I don't expect that police should be in the service or force, as we use force, without any promotion. And I was wondering if there's any cutoff point where, well, in my humble opinion, if someone is in the police force and is not making any progress in terms of promotion, and I know this is a very controversial thing because I've heard many stories about that. I think they should be terminated, or they should be called in, spoken to, something like that. I hope I get the point.
I got the point.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Just to try to answer the question, when a person joins the police force after 3 years, they're entitled to be promoted. After 3 years service, you could be promoted. However, there's a commissioner, Commissioner Toussaint, used to say, but you have to promote yourself. In order to do what is right. In most cases, as the old people say, who the dog like it lick. But you will have to promote yourself, really. Do the things that will make you to be promoted, really. So basically, that's how I will answer that. You will have to.
But you know, there are multiple questions that will come from just that statement alone, right?
I know that.
All right, so we'll leave that there because that's not police and promotions, not the topic for today, because that by itself is a whole cop chat session. How can persons actually apply though?
You apply to public human resource, same as you applied for police officer.
Okay.
You apply.
But you indicate that you're applying to be auxiliary police.
Yes.
Okay.
There are cases where several persons who applied for the police, but they didn't have the required subjects and so on. And because the file is still at human resource, and when we're looking for auxiliary, we contact these persons and ask them if they're interested.
Okay.
And there was several training with auxiliary done at SSU just recently, and quite a lot of them are now auxiliary officers working with SSU, working at SSU.
All right, but are they encouraged to get the subjects that they're supposed to have so that if they do wish to go over into the force full time, that they come with the qualifications and not just the on-the-job experience?
Most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely. And what we're seeing right now that a lot of auxiliary officers going to evening classes, they're doing the subject because their aim is to go into the regular police.
Okay, so it could be viewed as a stepping platform, right? A stepping stone.
It's a stepping stone.
Okay.
All right, lovely. So not really a question, but just a statement. We could definitely be using our auxiliary officers more in the community. One of the issues we have now is the theft of. Okay, so there's a call. All right, go right ahead. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Pleasure, good morning.
Good morning to the officer.
Good morning.
Officer, I want a little clarification on this.
Yes, please.
When I was growing up, okay?
Yes.
Auxiliary police was just like a voluntary job, okay? There was no payment. You apply to the force and the take it was like an assistant to the police, but in a voluntary way. They never used to get payment. It's since some years now, I've seen a lot of police in auxiliary, and to be honest, the auxiliary police sometimes like seem to be doing more than the regular police, because sometimes they're on duty, they use a sentry, you send them out by the post office, and there are other things that I would not say, but I just wanted to verify that it was a voluntary job and not a job we had to pay. We had to apply and get subject and that sort of thing.
Okay, the auxiliary. Okay. Yes, you're not correct. It's voluntary, yes, because as I stated earlier, that they volunteer to be firefighters. But once you called out by the commissioner of police, then you're actually on duty, and you'll be paid as the rank.
Okay, Colin went to hang up. Okay.
Yeah, but
go ahead.
Sorry, but he's not answering my questions. I asked him if at the beginning. It was not a police job. It was a voluntary job.
They volunteered, as I stated, they volunteered to go to the fire service. But once they go out on duty, they'll be paid. And they'll be paid according to the rank. If you're a sergeant, they'll pay a sergeant, a constable.
You are paid now, right? You're being paid now in the system. Okay? Officer?
Yes.
You are young, but maybe you can ask when you're off duty.
Yes.
But, sorry, when you leave the station, but that is how I know it, eh?
Okay.
Knew it. All right.
All right. Okay, so we have being interviewed Mr. Michael Charles, Commandant of the SVG Auxiliary Forces, who is also the former Commissioner of Police. All right, so
just to note.
Just a note. All right, so stemming from the question that the caller just asked, though, given that it's voluntary, right? Are background checks being done on these persons who have applied? Because if I want to learn we have a call. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Pleasant good morning.
Good morning.
Greetings.
Just to assist my brother there.
Greetings.
With that last caller.
Yes.
The Auxiliary Police Force is a voluntary organization.
Correct.
But even long ago, once they are employed on duty by the Commissioner of Police, they are being paid.
Correct.
Years ago, long time, even from inception, once the Commissioner of Police employs them for any duty, they are being paid, or they were paid.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome, my brother.
All right. Right. So given that they are voluntary, our background checks being done, because I could see somebody listening to this at this time, wanting to know the ins and outs of the force, etc., and with devious intent. What is actually being done to ensure that we have upstanding persons with good intentions, persons who actually want to assist with the security of the communities, with the nation, etc., actually being the ones to join this particular force?
Two of the criteria to being an auxiliary. You have to be able-bodied and of good character. But it doesn't stop there. The background check is done. You have to bring a police certificate, or what we call a police record. You have to do that. And if by chance a person slipped through the crack, he's known in the community, and somebody will go to the commissioner, to the commandant, or any other officer and say, that person was arrested for something some time ago. And so the investigation being done. If that's the case, then we will ask that person to leave.
Okay, so what about before they even get to actually become an officer to join the auxiliary force? Are questions asked about them within the community just to confirm that?
Yes. As I say, background check has been done.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I was just suggesting earlier that the auxiliary officers can be used in the communities to help with some of the issues, some of the crimes that are being committed. For example, they have, one that is more prevalent around this time we talked about this morning, the prayer larceny. And one of the suggestions is for communities to form watch groups. So I'm thinking it's possible for some of these auxiliary officers to join in this particular regard as well. It's
in some communities, auxiliary officers and police officers are members of community watch.
Lovely.
Yes.
Right. All right, so we have a message here on the WhatsApp. Can a police command a private vehicle to pursue a crime if a police vehicle is not available? That's a separate question, but yeah.
Yes, it can happen.
Okay.
But we don't normally see it happening in St. Vincent, really. But it could happen.
All right. So we are coming down to we're coming close to the end of our interview here this morning. Remember, we were speaking to Mr. Michael Charles, who is the commandant of the SVG Auxiliary Forces. A lot of information was shared here this morning relating to the auxiliary forces. So we're hoping that the public is more educated now in terms of the auxiliary police officers, remembering that they do have the same power as the police officer once they're called on duty as well. All right. So we're going to develop some respect or some more respect for our officers. But as we come to the end, I would just like to ask you, Mr. Charles, to say something that you think is important for us to leave the listeners with, anything that you think is most necessary for them to hear at this time.
Well,
in closing.
The auxiliary police officers are police officers, and they should guarantee the same respect as the ordinary police. And mind you, respect
goes
both ways. Right? So if you want to be respected, you have to show respect to be respected. For the auxiliary officers who are listening, continue to do the good job that you're doing, and strive to be police officers. I just like to just to mention the ranks, because as I stated, there's some different when they reach certain places. But they start as a constable, then a lance corporal, a corporal, a sergeant, station sergeant, second lieutenant, lieutenant, a captain, major, and the commandant. That's basically the ranks of the auxiliary police.
Okay. So even within the auxiliary force, you can get that promotion. You can get to okay.
Yes.
Right.
Same criteria, same procedure. They recommend to the commissioner and the commissioner. But officers have to be promoted by the governor general. So if you is a station sergeant to become a lieutenant, I recommend to the commissioner that Roleza is fit and ready for lieutenant. So I make that recommendation to him. If he approve it, he will send it off to the governor general, who will sanction it.
Okay. And by way of, let's say, internal recognition, because I know police force has their own awards where they recognize officers during the year. Does the same thing happen with the auxiliary force?
Well, overall,
what's there to motivate persons even?
When you have the overall police awards, auxiliary is included.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
they
right.
include it. Yes. And some of them top some of the top awards. Yes.
Okay. All right. Good stuff.
All right, lovely. You are finished with
any final thoughts?
Oh,
just to remind persons that this is the festive season, and they'll be very careful. Look out for your neighbor, look out for yourself, and be safe.
All right. And with that, we have come to the end of our Cop Chat segment here on WEFM. This morning, we were discussing the roles and responsibilities of the auxiliary police officers, the auxiliary force, with Mr. Michael Charles, who is the commandant of the auxiliary forces here in SVG. At 9 o'clock this morning, we will be bringing to you today's ECCB currency exchange.